we've launched our integrated end-to-end platform for doing early-stage clinical development under the single brand of hVIVO, which happened in April of this year. With regards to the financials, we have recently issued our trading update, and we expect our revenue to be around 16.3 million for the first half of 2026.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by hVIVO Chief Executive Mo Khan. Mo, very good to speak with you. Could you give us a quick overview of the key highlights of today's trading update, please?
Absolutely, we'll love to. Well, thank you for having me on, first of all, on your podcast there. So it's been a very significant first half for hVIVO in the fact that we've launched our integrated end-to-end platform for doing early-stage clinical development under the single brand of hVIVO, which happened in April of this year. With regards to the financials, we have recently issued our trading update, and we expect our revenue to be around 16.3 million for the first half of 2026. We always knew that our revenue for the full year would be weighted towards the second half of the year, and that has come to fruition. Our adjusted EBITDA, we expect it to be around negative mid-single digit for the first half of 2026, but positive for the second half of 2026. But really the key highlights for me are the forward-looking parameters, such as the order book, which has more than doubled from 30 million to over 65 million pounds. And also on further forward-looking parameters, we've increased the requests for proposals we received in inbound by 45% year on year. So I'm very pleased that we have come through the first half of 2026, and we've been having one of our most successful sales contract time in the first period of 2026.
But what's driven the significant growth in the order book?
Well, sales, to be very short and sharp. We've had one of our best half with regards to new contracted sales, and that has built upon the 30 million order book we started with earlier this year. So the fact that we have more than double that, and at the same time when we recognized quite a bit of revenue as well, I think says a lot. And that has been through this integrated hVIVO platform that we are now running end-to-end clinical trials, so right from consulting through challenge trials, key laboratory, and as well as non-human challenge trials that we launched early this year after the acquisition of our German asset. So those are the key reasons where we've been able to win more end-to-end programs. So we've been even able to cross-sell to our current customers. So for example, if we had a human challenge trial customer, we've been able to provide additional maybe phase 1 clinical trial services, which we couldn't have done prior to last year because of the absence of phase 1 first in human capabilities. And with the addition of CRS, we've been able to offer that service. And the fact that we can now offer consulting services where we help customers design their clinical development programs and then offer the first in human and then the challenge trial or other non-challenge phase 2 program means that we have a much more fuller service provision to our customers. And I think those are some of the key factors that have resulted in an uptick. But also holistically at a macro level, we've seen an increase in the biotech funding environment.
What other signs of your renewed commercial momentum are you seeing now?
So if you look at the one step back from the order book is the incoming proposals. So how many proposals are we coming in from different customers? And that has gone up, as I mentioned earlier, by 45% year on year. And that's a really key forward-looking indicator as to what will the order book look like going forward. Because we hope that some of these new proposals will be awarded and then converted into new contracts. And I think that is, to me, the very positive indicator that the number of proposals we're coming in are greater. In addition, we have a whole portfolio of proposals coming in. They're not just human challenge trials. Although we've had a very, very good first half in human challenge trials, we've also seen an uptick in, for example, new non-human challenge trial respiratory projects, as well as in cardiometabolic diseases and phase 1, phase 2 work in these therapeutic areas. We know they're growing and there's more work to be had. And the fact that we have much more diversified provision of services and the RFPs that are coming in, it means that we are much more resilient, more robust than we have ever been before.
I know you've already touched on it, but what's the outlook for hVIVO in the second half?
Yeah, we expect a significant uptick in revenue from the first half of 2026 to the second half of 2026. And that's really key for us. And the fact that we have the order book really cements that position. So having a £65 million order book going into a second half of this year, it means a lot to us. And that order book not only goes in 2026, but also into 27 and 2028. And I think that's really a key item for us. And the fact that we have the facilities and the resources to be able to convert this order book into revenue is key for us. It's all about timing. So we have the right number of contracts. We are also looking to convert more awards into contracts as we move forward. And we're hoping that some of these contracts go into operation and execute and generate revenue in a timely manner. And then after that, we think we will be broadly in line with our full year guidance that we provided in 2025.
Mo, you've already alluded to acquisitions like CRS. So can you tell us how hVIVO has changed over the past year and why should investors have confidence in the business beyond the H2 recovery?
Well, we have changed immensely. I don't think we are the same company as we were 18 months ago. So from being a one-service human challenge trial CRO working in infectious diseases, we are now a much more fuller service spread across 4 distinct service lines, providing end-to-end clinical stage development services. So we have the human challenge trial service provision that remains our core capability. But in addition, we have the laboratory service line, which now on its own works on large projects, including the previously announced Sidara phase 2 and phase 3 trials. We have the consulting arm, which is getting additional exposure because we have the phase 1 acquisition in Germany. So they're able to help customers get into phase 1 clinical trials quickly. And then, of course, the new clinical trial arm, which includes all the non-human challenge trials we run at the CRO as well as at the clinical site. And we've seen increases in that area in respiratory, in cardiometabolic diseases. So overall, we are a very much more broader, more robust, more resilient company than we were 18 months ago.
Well, Mo, I hope you'll continue to keep us updated with your progress. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for having me on.
Mo Khan, the Chief Executive of hVIVO.